Can I say bad words?
Go for it, yeah.
You don't fuck around. This guy is like right into, okay, so I get in this car, he does the slate, boom, you were a comedian. I love it.
How'd the comedian life go? How'd you switch over to the production side of, like, I guess...
Well, one of the first things that I remember, look at that guy's hat. That's a dumb hat. One of the first things I did, I was on the road in the 80s, right? When your parents were children.
Yeah.
And I bought a video camera and I would edit from a video camera to like a VHS deck.
Okay.
Because, you know, the camcorder, you could play back the video on there were little cassettes, right?
Right.
So I did that. In fact, I was on the road. The club was called Hilarities in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. It's like outside of Akron, Ohio, rubber capital of the world. It's where they make tires like Goodrich.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
I was working with Brian Regan. In fact, I think he was the middle act, and I was the opener. I forget the headliner.
Oh, okay.
And during the day, I was like, hey, Brian, and we made these little shorts, little animated things, not cartoons, but like stop motion-y things. And then I started going around. That was just one example. I remember he was one of the first comedians. I was like, hey, I got this camera. You want to play around? And then I was doing colleges as a comedian, and I would take a camera. The camcorders got smaller as my junior varsity fame rose, so I was doing bigger crowds. If that makes sense.
Totally.
So I started going around the college campus with my camcorder, and I would interview like the lunch ladies or the security guard and the students, the sororities, fraternity people. And I would just edit as I go. I wouldn't even edit the shit. I would just pause on record, right?
Right.
So it was all in-camera editing, as we say. ICE is the acronym. And I would show that before I would go on stage. It was a fucking killer opening act. Because they would be like, that's the guy at the security on the north end of campus. And so that got me into production.
So you were a comedian, and then, of course, you were being taped. Was that like something that you were like, oh, I want to learn more about being on the other side, other than being like the main attraction? So what made you, I guess, jump into that? I know you were saying the VHS, but yeah, so...
Well, you want to get real.
Yeah.
I was trying to take it way back, like the seeds of production. But you want, I'll give you a moment. I was a bad actor. Okay, so I did Who's the Boss, Baywatch.
Baywatch?
And I'm not like, what's the other one? Empty Nest, I did that show. Herman's Head, if you want a deep cut. People.
Oh, man.
I'm talking like a couple of lines, and I was still terrible. So I'm not boasting. Although I did get like a $6 check the other day from reruns. I'm big in Germany.
Oh.
Right, my acting from the 80s and 90s.
Small Wonder? No?
Never did Small Wonder. Okay. Oh, man, that would have been a great one.
Yeah, totally.
So, Daniel, I'm on set, and I like the life. I like the life. You know, you don't have to travel anymore. I traveled since I was 18. So now I'm in my 20s, and I'm like, I like this production. Then I start, by the way, your shocks are not too good in this Honda.
Oh, okay.
And I'm fat and jiggling, like I should have worn a sports bra. I got a little man boob on this camera.
Oh, totally.
So I hope you blow it up or something. I'm like,
I got some
jiggling.
too, so don't, so that means I got to go
No, you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to do anything special for me. I'm going to own it here with your listeners. I'm just putting it out there. I'm trying to lose weight.
I'll make you look good. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'll fix it in post, right? That's what they say, right?
I'm going to start Zempin. Do you know that one?
No, what is that?
When you do the Ozempic. It's a drug that curbs all Hollywood's rage with this Ozempic.
So no...
You do a shot a week and you just start dropping weight.
Is it like a caffeine pill or?
No, it's an injection.
Oh, man.
You can't eat. So I'm saying if I start doing Ozempic,
I think I heard about that.
I made it a verb.
Oh, man. You should do a commercial for it, right?
They have a commercial.
Okay.
And it goes, Ozempic.
Oh, now I remember that one. That jingle, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's magic. Okay, so I'm doing. Yeah, here's your answer.
Sure.
Comedians make great game show hosts. Right?
Right.
There's Drew Carey hosts The Price is Right. Wayne Brady does the show. Let's Make a Deal. Johnny Carson was a comedian turned talk show host. Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Fallon, right? And James Corbin, not so much, but he didn't last. He quit.
Yeah, but he held the reins for a while,
So I'm doing all these like brick wall cable comedy shows. There's 4 or 5 cameras. I'm watching how it goes. Then I used to do the sitcoms at the same time. I'm looking at all the way it goes. Then I do a game show. I'm a host of a game show. I hosted like 4 or 5 pilots that didn't go, hosting game shows.
Are they on YouTube?
Yeah, one of them is Grill Me.
Grill Me, okay.
Grill Me. They only made 2 episodes. Dweezil Zappa was a guest, and someone from the original Brady Bunch was a guest, and they aired them, but it never made it to the series.
Okay.
But I knew how to game show host, and I'd done an MTV game show, short-lived show. It was like a music Jeopardy kind of thing. And while I was doing that show, taping 4 shows a day for, 80 shows, I start falling in love with the production. I'm learning how it works. Then I get hired to do a kids show with Mario Lopez.
Whoa.
This is in the 90s.
So when Saved by the Bell was a
Saved by the Bell was a huge hit. And he would go and do Saved by the Bell during the week, and then during the summers we would do like 13 shows with all these segments in it. And I got hired because I was a game show host, a comedian, and I was expendable. What does that mean, Daniel? It means the show is called Name Your Adventure. If a kid wanted to go shark diving, we can't let Mario Lopez, the star of Saved by the Bell, go shark diving. Put the comedian in the fucking water.
Yeah.
What if I want to go to chef school? Well, then Mario can do that. What if we're going to go meet the President of the United States? Well, Mario can do that. What if it's like shoot somebody out of a cannon for a circus?
Jordan.
Send a comedian, send Jordan. So that was a single. This is like, do your podcast listeners, people watching, they like production or they like comedy, or what is it? What are we leaning?
This is a podcast. I'm hoping to dive into production first, and then anything that's influential to the 90s to like today. So it could be talking with actors, but right now you're the spotlight.
Oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. I'm still a little conscious about this guy right here. Okay. The scarf hides the neck, right? The neck fat.
I know the
directory.
I know this angle isn't the greatest. I need
this is
to
horrible,
get some,
man.
Yeah, at least I have this one.
Is great.
So maybe I'll do majority here. Do some.
No, fuck it, man. You do what you want to. Do what's best.
Extreme close-ups, and that's it. So extreme close-ups and wides. That's it.
Okay. I don't mind. I'm putting it out there. Your show is so inviting, and I feel safe
Thank
here
you.
with
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, wait a minute. Here's what I got to finish this thought for you.
You're buttering me up. Yeah, you need to.
Buttering you up. No. Name Your Adventure. It's on YouTube. Mario Lopez.
Okay.
I ended up directing that show. In fact, I ended up directing more than I hosted.
Oh.
Tatiana Ali was on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's back in the 90s. She ended up hosting, and I directed her and Mario. And I would direct myself, but that was single camera. Because the comedy shows were multicam.
Right.
Sitcoms were multicam. I did a couple of after-school specials.
Okay.
They're not around anymore, but it used to be like little movies of the week. Diane Keaton directed one. And I was in. It was an after-school special, so I was learning single camera. And I'm just on set watching people as an actor comedian.
And did that show's director shadow? You shadowed them before you took the reins, or you just?
No, it was just on. I never shadowed. I was just on the set as a performer.
So you learned just by being there. Okay.
Yeah. So instead of just being in my trailer whacking off, I'm out there eating Chinese food. I'm watching how they light, watching how they do this. And then when I did Name Your Adventure and I was directing myself, I had amazing producers, like segment producers, executive producers I'm still friends with, DPs, sound people, who all would go like, hey man, you're fucking this up. Like, don't do that. So I learned by people telling me, stop doing that. Do it this way.
Okay.
And that's how I learned to respect the process of the way you typically go about shooting.
Huh. Well, yeah, because the crew doesn't want you to sink either, because they're there the whole day too.
Yeah, and they're good people. They don't want you to fail. Everyone thinks like actors think casting directors don't want them to do well. People think the crew's rolling their eyes at you. That's wrong. People want you to succeed.
Totally, because they do when you do, right? Most of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you learned doing that, and then what was the movement towards commercial directing, since that's your forte? We should go get a picket sign.
I know, viewers, listeners. Do you have more viewers or listeners?
Viewers.
Viewers, oh
Yeah.
good. We're right near the writer's strike, and it looks like they're striking against striking because all the picket signs are right there. There's like literally 7 people picketing right now outside of Sony Studios.
And they get some free drinks, it looks like.
Yeah, they got some energy drinks, they got some Gatorade, they got some Dunkin' Donuts.
Have you done work in the studio, or?
I have. I've
Okay.
shot commercials. I shot Eggo waffle commercials at Sony Studios.
Oh,
Took
okay.
over a big soundstage. But commercials, I fell into. I made a feature film, and I was trying to raise money for the feature film, indie film. So I went to all these production companies, and I said, "Hey, we want to invest in my indie film." And they all said, "Fuck no." But one of them said, "Hey, why don't you pitch on this commercial?"
Okay.
So we they didn't even tell me how to pitch. Like, in hindsight, they were kind of stupid. They should have said, "Hey, you've never done a commercial. Say this, say that. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that." No one did it. They just got me on a phone call and we got the job.
What commercial was it?
WD-40.
Ooh.
You're no stranger to that.
That fixes everything, like duct tape too. You know, those go hand in hand, right?
And the zip
Sweets.
tie.
Yeah.
The
three.
zip tie is sort of that's the trolley trinity.
That is, if you think about
Duct tape, WD, zip tie. If you can make someone laugh, you're actually manipulating their emotions. Same with making someone cry, making someone, a horror director, get someone on the edge of the seat. I love comedy, and my daddy always told me funny is money. So it's kind of lucrative to do commercials that are comedy based.
it. Do you think? Well, I've seen some of your commercials, and most of the actors and actresses aren't like. Someone would think, throw a comedian in there, it'll be funny.
Yeah.
Does it work?
Sometimes.
Okay.
It depends on the situation. If it's like, there's one of my favorite comedians is Rory Scovel.
Okay.
I don't know if you know him.
No.
He's on that Apple show called Physical. He plays the husband. Super funny stand-up. When I did commercials with him, there was a loose script, and he ad-libbed everything. Okay, so that's one extreme. Or Keegan-Michael Key, I did a commercial with. We did like 4 in a couple days. Loose script, he improvises. I just sort of cajole him one way or the other, and it turns out awesome, and then you take the credit. On the other side of the coin is the situation where the script is really funny, so you want good actors. If you put a comedian in there, it may not turn out funny because the comedian wasn't a good actor, and it takes you out of the moment. Cops, cup it. You got a radar gun out. Anybody, you ever been pulled over while doing the podcast?
No. Let's not make it a first, though.
Let's not do it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming down this hill, they don't want.
Speed trap right there, right?
So you put the actor in there, they're better because they play the reality of an absurd situation. Then you got the hybrid situation. Catherine Hahn. We did a bunch of Chrysler commercials.
Okay.
Where you have a funny script, you have actors that react to the scene, and you have a funny actress, comedian, improviser that takes the script to another level. And the ultimate thing for me are Toyota commercials I do with this guy from Second City named, you've seen him all over TV, his name's Pat Finn. Pat Finn does the script and then throws in improv all around it.
Okay.
So it's the best of both worlds. But a stand-up is a little risky sometimes.
So how do you get the job? I know your masterclass explains everything. I don't want to, of course, bootleg it on this podcast or
Can you
Carcast.
bootleg?
I mean, you pretty much giving everything away.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
No, I'll tell you anything you want.
But
But I appreciate the plug, Commercial Directing Masterclass. You can go to commercialdirectingmasterclass.com, or everything I have is at commercialdirectingfilmschool.com, where there are these online courses about how to pitch, how to write a treatment. There's one called Shadow, Commercial Directing Shadow. You shadow me on set for like 4 hours. It's insane. Over the course of 9 commercials, I think. Use the code Niftyfifty. Niftyfifty, one word. That'll knock $50 off of any of my bullshit courses.
there you go.
And you get a free consultation call with yours truly when you're done with the course. But here's what you do. Okay, you want to do comedy commercials. So the first thing anyone wants to do that wants to direct, you have to pick what you want to do. You said comedy, you said commercials, great. Step 2, pick a date and write it down. How fast will this episode come out?
By next week.
Okay, so we're in the middle of June 2023. I'm going to say, Daniel, by Thanksgiving, I want you to have shot 1 commercial. It can be with an iPhone, it can be with the Dragon Touch, it doesn't matter, okay? By Thanksgiving. Okay, so we know Thanksgiving is the 24th, 25th of November, so we got most of June, we got all of July, August, September, October, and then finishing touches early November. So you got 4 months.
Right.
Now, let's say you want a script. We're going backwards now. We're going backwards from November 1st because you want to be done and ready to show at Thanksgiving party. That means you got to have a script by, let's say, July 15th. Is that enough time? You got a month to find a script.
Yeah.
Okay? Once you get the script, you're going to start planning the location, and then you're going to call people to help you. You're going to call a DP friend. You're going to friend that's got a camera. If not,
or
you,
me,
or you, or you, you're going to start calling some friends that can act, or you'll call a casting director, or you'll put an ad on backstage.com.
Does that work?
It works. There's
okay.
a lot of freaks, but a lot of great people, a lot of talented people.
So you've hired people out there, I assume, right?
Never.
No.
I'm kidding.
Hey.
Yes.
Unless.
Yes,
you know.
no, we have. In fact, my son is a director and a DP, and
Okay.
we put an ad on Backstage. It's free. I got no skin in the game with Backstage, right?
Right.
It just works, and it's a free account if you got a project.
Okay.
And you name your price, and people submit. So now you got actors. You're going to shoot it. You're going to use your iPhone. The script you got. There's a great website called Spec Bank. Not Spank Bank. That's
Spank
totally
Bank.
different. You know that one. That's bookmarked on your computer.
Hey, don't tell anyone. Well, too late now. But so Spec Bank.
Spec Bank. You get a script that ad agency people loved, but their client didn't buy it. Let's say it was for Chef Boyardee ravioli, and it's a really funny script, but the Chef Boyardee said, no, that's too funny, that's too risque.
Okay.
So you claim it on Spec Bank and go make it.
And you pay for that?
It's $8 a month.
Okay.
$8, and you can cancel after a month. But I think if you use my name, Jordan Brady, and Daniel for this podcast, they will give you a month free.
Oh, there you go. Nothing to lose. I'll totally check it out. So I get a script, and what's next?
Well, you got to get your crew, right? You want
Right.
to have good sound. Because it's okay to shoot with an iPhone, but you better have good sound. If you have shitty sound, like, people will forgive a terrible picture.
Right.
But when it comes to sound, they'll just turn it off immediately. Like, literally within a second, people will be like, this is crap. Right. When you're on TikTok, don't you go like, what? I can't even hear them.
What are you trying to say?
No, I'm not trying to say anything. Okay, so now you finished shooting. It should be August. Let's say you're running behind, so it's August 30th.
Right.
We got all of September to edit.
Okay.
And you're going to show some friends, some trusted friends, but in your gut, you're going to know what's good. And then by September, you're going to start putting it on Vimeo. I would suggest Vimeo more than YouTube.
Why is that? The quality?
Well, YouTube quality is pretty good. But the way, I think it's perception.
It looks professional?
It looks professional. It's not going to be, there's no ads that I know on Vimeo. Right? I don't think so.
No, it does. Yeah, you're right. It looks more professional.
You're going to name it. You're going to tag it. You're going to send a link out to people.
The password, so it even...
You can password protect.
So, yeah.
And then you're going to start sending it to people. But I'm going to be honest, because we're friends and we're in the car together. Your listeners or your viewers are trusting us. I wouldn't send out one spot. I would wait and gather spots. I wait till I have 3.
Okay.
And I would send a link to those 3 spots.
Okay.
And I would send them to production companies, producers, executive producers, and say, hey, I'm a director, I do comedy. Here's 3 of my spots. If you send 1, they're going to call back and go, love it, what else you got? You send 3, they can make a decision. They may say, well, I hate you. But they may go, hey, you show promise.
And how do you get these contacts? Like to send?
That's a great question. How do you get the contacts? If you go to any free publication, Adweek, Ads of the World, Creativity Online, Shots, Shoot Magazine, Little Black Book. It's a real one. And they post new commercials every day. And they put the director, they put the agency, they put the production company.
Okay.
And I'm sure this will be in the show notes. You can email me, jordan@commercialdirectingfilmschool.com, and I'll remind you what these are. But I'll send them to you, Dan. Right?
Awesome.
Send them to you, but anyone can email me. And start watching commercials. So I didn't go to film school. I studied advertising as a consumer. I watch commercials on TV.
And the main purpose of a commercial is
to sell you something and to entertain. So if you want to make art, pure art, to go and do some crazy montage video experiment and get a day job because you're not going to get hired probably not going to get hired. If you want to do commerce, just be a videographer and get hired by directors or companies to shoot straight ahead bullshit sales. Commercial directing is the intersection of art and commerce. So you want to entertain and you want to sell something. But I am brand and product agnostic. I would sell vape pens to toddlers if the money was there and the script was funny. Some agencies have their own production company within the agency.
Okay.
So you could send it to them. But send it to an executive producer or a producer that needs a director. So that would be an executive producer at a production company. And with those magazines I named, you would see a commercial for, Ross Dress for Less and go, that's the kind of humor I have. So you would Google, like, who made that? You would find the production company, and it would say Stacy was the executive producer. So you email Stacy and go, I loved your Ross commercial. I do that sort of funny.
Okay.
And then you send her your spot. Can I help you? So how do you get the script once they like you? So it's a lot of luck and timing in the universe. Daniel's 3 spots he shot have to sort of serve a purpose for the ad agency that has a script that's like what you do.
Okay.
And then the producer from that production company, Stacy, that we sent the spots to, she has to be aware that the agency needs a director for this spot, right? They have to have relationships. So it's all about relationships. You have a relationship with the production company. The production company has a relationship with the ad agency. And they like your shit. They get you on the phone. Now you pitch.
And how do you prepare for that?
So for a pitch, you read the script. I teach a very specific method. I like to print the script on old school and write on the script with a pen.
Okay.
So I can vomit ideas about it. And then I Google what other commercials they've done for Ross Dress for Less. Is this a new campaign or is it a continuation of the old campaign? Like if I was going to do a Geico commercial, there's a very specific type of humor that Geico is. Burger King seems to change their tone all the time. Like right now they have people that sing poorly. It's very charming. They used to have a Burger King guy that was like a spooky mannequin. So they're changing all the time. So I would do my research. And then when I get on the Zoom now, it used to be a phone call. When I got on the Zoom, Daniel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the story that I want to tell. So it may not be exactly the way it's scripted, but it's not going to deviate so much that they think, who is this asshole that just rewrote our script? Right? Like,
right.
That's not a way to win a job. But if you go in and just pitch it, oh, this is perfect, I'm going to shoot it the way it's written, then the advertising people are like, well, Jordan didn't bring anything special. He just wants to shoot we can shoot what we wrote. We want a director to piss on it.
Okay. That's why they got you, right?
That's why they got me.
Yeah.
Where's your piss?
Did you make that mistake earlier on to kind of just do what they gave you, or?
No, I've never. I went the other way.
Okay.
When I started out, I wanted to do too many things differently. So I kind of broke.
You pushed the envelope?
Too hard. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I broke it. You're supposed to just bend it without breaking.
And I'm sure it was successful because you have a successful career, right? Or were there some jobs where it's like, I pushed too hard on that one?
Yeah. There were ones where they called my executive producer and said, yeah, we don't want to go that far, into the wacky zone or whatever.
And how competitive is it? Like, to be honest,
it's super competitive.
Okay. So you're competing right now with many directors in your spot, or you're more comfortable because you have so much that
I've been
kind of know what works.
Yeah, I've been doing it. Commercials. That WD-40 was in 1998. It's now 2003. So that's 25 years. Is that right? Yeah, 25 years.
About, yeah.
Of commercials. And I did some movies along the way and some other documentaries, but primarily commercials. And for all these years. So I have relationships. I think if you take away one thing from this podcast, it's relationships are key for longevity. But competitive wise, let me tell you how it works.
Sure.
There's thousands of directors now because the barrier to entry has lowered. The tools are easier to find. YouTube, you can learn. TikTok, I learned so much shit on TikTok. I love it. We met on TikTok.
No, on Instagram.
Instagram, same thing.
I need to follow you on. I'm not active on there yet.
It's the same shit. I put the same bullshit.
Okay, well, Follow, is it at Jordan Brady on TikTok?
It's at that Jordan Brady.
That on all social media?
On also.
So Super Bowl.
Ah.
That's the prime time.
It's the Oscars. So. Well, Daniel, that's a. I'm not going to say a sore topic with me.
Okay.
But I've had 4 commercials, maybe 5, run during the Super Bowl, but never at the same time. One was regionally around the country.
Okay.
And then some have been in just pockets of the country. And then one year I did a Bud Light commercial for the Super Bowl. And Bud Light made like 10. And mine got down to the top 2. It was the winner, then it was second place, winner, second place. So it was like not a contest, but 10 directors over the course of 6 months made 10 different commercials. And they were all funny. And mine was going like that night before they decided, because they had to pick one and then send it to air. When we were the winner, I was like, yes, we did it. And then, no, they went with the other one. And so that's like my Moby Dick, right? That's the white whale I'm chasing.
So every year
Every year.
So you do car commercials.
Yes.
Why isn't the wife mad that the husband bought a car without her asking? And she wakes up and goes out and there's a giant bow on the car.
That's a great question. You know, you're so right. If I went and bought a car without telling my wife or asking her what kind she wanted, what color, she would be pissed. So I guess it's fantasy.
Yeah. And that's like a repetitive thing during the holidays, right? Because you've probably done a bunch.
I've done the big bow. I've done the big bow a couple times. There's actually a person a company that makes giant bows and sells them to car companies.
Oh, okay.
So they can have them in the commercial, and they can have them at the dealership.
Ah, and is that what the agency always wants during the holidays, pretty much? Like,
They want a big bow on the car.
like this is going to be the gift, right?
It's what it's called, the gift, because it works.
What do you prefer, like green screen? Because you use a lot of LED screens too.
I use the LED wall,
And
yeah.
That's so amazing. Which one? I guess there's pros and cons to both, right? Or is the screen pretty much you see it's going to be the new standard, as in if people could afford it?
That's a great bonus question. And before I answer, I want to say thank you to all the viewers and listeners. And Daniel, thank you for having me on the show.
I'll have you again if you're willing to.
Of course, I love the format.
Yeah.
I love you were punctual. Like, if you're going to be a director, be on time. Okay? But the answer is, I like green screen and LED walls the same. Because in the LED wall, you have to fix it in the prep. You have to know exactly in the prep what you're going to put on the wall.
Okay.
And sometimes with green screen, you go, you know what? Let's buy ourselves an extra 2 weeks in post and we'll put it in. So that's my answer.
Well, that's a very good answer. Well, like you said, go if you want to learn about commercial directing. JordanBrady.com, correct?
Yep. CommercialDirectingFilmSchool.com. Both of them will get you there.
He has many courses as well as a book. And what's the promo code again to get 50 off?
Niftyfifty.
Niftyfifty.
With a Y. Niftyfifty.
Well, it was a pleasure.
Man, this has been great. This is awesome.
Thank you for doing it. And
Daniel shows up with the cameras rolling. Questions right out the gate.
And one last thing I want you to do, if you can.
Yeah.
A director's cut.
Oh, and cut.
There you go.